You were expecting a jump scare, right? Well, I'm not an asshole, so I won't do anything. Fear the spotlight. Now, where do I start? This game has to be one of the most underrated indie horror games I've played. It was only created by 2 people. Yes, you heard that. It only took 2 people to make this. And to top it off, it was published by Blumhouse Games, which if you didn't know, they're the studio behind the Insidious movies, the FNAF movies, both Smile movies, and the list goes on and on, like dating back all the way to the 2000s. So before I even started this game, I had a feeling this one was gonna be good. Anyways, welcome to how I 100%ed Fear the Spotlight and got all 35 achievements. To start off, we play as this nerdy girl named Vivian. She has a friend named Amy who is the complete opposite of her, and together they plan to sneak into their school at night. They do this because they want to play with an Ouija board that was at the school. Now, I don't know what school has an Ouija board at the library, but who cares. This is also where I get the first achievement of the game, the first of 35. Hey! So, you and Amy get the board and start the ritual, but shit doesn't go your way and things start to get out of hand. And just like that, Amy disappeared and we're all alone. So we decide to roam the library, and in my opinion, this is where the game really shines. The way it could really immerse you into like the horror aspect of this whole game is so crazy, and it's honestly really hard for a game to do, and they did it perfectly. Throughout the game, there's so many times where you feel like isolated and you feel alone, and the game does it so well, and it's just something you guys have to experience yourself if you play the game. Another thing that I noticed is that this game is filled with Easter eggs, which is another reason why it's so good. Throughout the video, I'll try to show a lot of them, but here's one example for now. When exploring the library before the ritual, there's a painting on the wall which shows a memorial of a bunch of kids. And after the ritual, if you go check it again, all of their faces will be changed into like a dead version of them. And it's such a small detail, but the amount of effort that they did just to change this little thing is really cool. Anyways, back to the story. We find Amy and she's tweaking. Amy disappears once again and the building catches on fire. We escape because of a big ass hole in the wall and we get our second achievement for surviving the library. We go through the hole, and this is where the problem solving aspect of the game comes in. We see a door with a mannequin holding out her hands, and this makes us believe that we need to place something in her hands. So we go explore and we have to solve this ourselves. This is also where we're introduced to the main villain of this game. It kind of looks like Siren Head, except he has like a spotlight on his head, right? Fear the spotlight, right? Funny. Since I'm terrible at being stealthy, I get caught by him. Luckily, he just throws you away and you can just easily heal back up. Part of this area was to get money for the vending machine, and this is another example of good game designing. Look at what happens right after you get the item. Notice how there was no big jump scare or a big buildup of music to make such a well-crafted scare. It's such a unique and subtle way to create tension and just to let you know that you're never alone. I also get my third achievement here because I wasn't a pussy and I went to go check on the monster. Like, that's an actual achievement to unlock, and I just thought it was funny. Anyways, I get the rose, I place it on the mannequin's hand, and I also get the 4th achievement of the game. After, we continue to progress the game until we get to this area. Now, there's a lot to talk about here, but for the sake of the video, I'll just keep it short. There's a fire in the building and we have to remove the smoke by turning on the power and then turning on the air conditioning. So this is another time where the game impresses me. Once you get to the power unit, there's already a small puzzle to open it, which this is pretty simple. It could take you like a minute or two, whatever. But then when you open it up, you're introduced to this madness. What the fuck? And the first time I saw this, I was like, what the fuck do I do, right? But the way the devs were able to make something so confusing yet so fun to learn and want to solve is amazing. Like, at first glance, this will seem impossible, but as you explore and you try out new things, find items, it's like everything becomes clear and you slowly start to understand more and more of it. It's like everything just clicks together, and when you solve the problem, you get like a euphoric feeling once everything is done. Like, it's just crazy. Anyways, back to the story. In this section, the spotlight man tries to chase you again in between the rooms, and since I didn't get caught by him this time, I get the 5th achievement for avoiding him. After this, I solve the power problem and turn on the air conditioning to get the 6th achievement. We enter the building and see that the entrance to the theater is on fire. Earlier in the story, we got a call from Amy saying to meet her in the theater, so our current mission is to find a way to extinguish the flames. We go down the sewer and find that the statue is missing pieces to his face. Another thing that I like that this game does is that it doesn't try to baby boo-boo you. It doesn't really tell you exactly what to do, and it only gives you like the slightest of hints to guide you to solving the puzzle. The main mission was to get 3 face pieces for the statue. The first one was easy, it was just behind this mirror. The second one was behind this piano, which you had to play Runaway by Kanye West in order to open it. And the third was in this box. Now, this is another example of a very fun puzzle. Same with the power box puzzle. At first you're confused, but then you realize we need a paper to project onto the wall. And then this could lead us to getting some answers, right? But to get this paper, we have to print it out. And you gotta do all this while being hunted by the spotlight man. And then there's so much more to this area that I would like to talk about, but then this video would be like 45 minutes long and there's no fucking way I'm editing that. So after you get the paper, it reveals a small message on the wall, which you have to decipher to finally solve the problem. And when I solved this, let me tell you, I felt so accomplished. It was like getting a text from a girl telling you to come over. Solving this problem was so rewarding and it was just crazy. So once you get all 3 face pieces and place them on the statue, you'll get the 7th achievement. Then the statue drops down and there's a whole new section that you could explore. And I'm not gonna lie, the only thing to know here is that you fix the sprinklers and extinguish the fire. And you also get an achievement for doing this while the radio is playing. So since you put out the fire, you can now progress forward and enter the theater. This is when we see Amy for the first time since the Ouija board. And she's stuck in like a bird cage and we have to untie her to save her. You have a little fight with the spotlight man, and since I beat him without taking any damage, I get the Bravo achievement. And then you and Amy have to run away from the fire because the whole building is collapsing. You guys then take a moment to recover and realize what the fuck just happened. And then this is when the cutie patootie happy family ending happens. So yeah, Amy and Vivian reveal their love for each other and we get the 10th achievement for finishing her story. Now, notice how I said finishing her story and not finishing the game? Well, that's because after that cutscene, there's a small section we gotta play through, and then this happens.
You shouldn't be in here, Vivian.
This unlocks chapter 2 and we get the 11th achievement. As soon as you start the next chapter, you get an achievement right after. This is also where we get to play as Amy. Now, before you go saying, oh, that's such a lazy way to create more content, this section is completely different to the Vivian story. And yes, there are some crossover moments that happen which are pretty cool, especially this one where Amy sees something crazy.
Got the spirit board.
But from Vivian's perspective, when we played as her, it was like she was just standing still and nothing was going on. Amy also has a phone, so obviously I try to call the cops. But she hangs up and I get the 13th achievement. We go through the whole Ouija board thing again and we get the 14th achievement for doing so. After that, we follow a noise that we hear, and suddenly we're taken back in time into Amy's old house. We also get the 15th achievement for doing so. We end up getting locked in our house and we need 2 sigils in order to free ourselves. So instead of explaining everything that I have to do again, I'll just show you some clips of me getting all the items, and we also get our 16th achievement for solving this puzzle. This is also where I encounter the second villain of the game. So this woman, I don't know why she scared me so much throughout my playthrough, but she scared the shit out of me. I don't know if it's the way she looks, or how she slowly stalks you while you explore the house, or how she's so quiet but she's huge at the same time, but this whole section put me on edge. Every time she would appear, I would literally get chills throughout my body. Like, look at this part. You need the car battery, but the car starts to make noise. And while you're taking out the battery, she just slowly spawns. Like, she just creeps up on you and now you're stuck with her in a garage. Anyways, fuck that bitch. You get... Anyways, fuck that bitch. Once you get all the items you need for the first sigil, you get the 16th achievement. And then after you get the achievement, the upstairs section is now open. And you go up and look who it is. We see our old friend, the Spotlight Man. So we destroy him for a second time and get the 17th achievement. You do some other puzzles while you're up there, and now would be a good time to show the memory lane achievement. This achievement says how we need to hear every voicemail. So throughout the whole section, whenever you do a puzzle, you get a voicemail or text from your family members and from Vivian. And once you get the last one and you listen to it, you get the achievement. The next thing we had to do was find a piece of the clock so that we can progress with the story and the game. And in this area, it almost feels like a small maze. And it feels very much like a backroom type of aesthetic. I don't know if you guys can relate, but whatever. We find what we're looking for, but then we see a small camera feed with Vivian on the other side.
Vivian.
Once it ends, I was kind of expecting like a woman to show up behind us or to stalk us or like some sort of jump scare, but nothing happens. And I feel like that shit was almost worse in a way because I was super tense after that and like all my nerves were like heightened and all that shit. So after a while, I'm not really expecting anything until this small little baby jump scare happens. Oh my god, bro. And I get so scared to the point where I had to pause my game. Yo, nah, I'm pausing. Like, looking back at the footage, this shit was not scary at all. But in the moment, with all the tension and all that stuff, I'm telling you, I had to take a little break. Anyways, going back to the story, we finally get the second sigil and the woman sees us and chases us till we lock her out and destroy her hand in the process. We place the sigil and then we get teleported back to the library with Vivian. We also get another achievement for completing Amy's chapter.
Anything spooky from now on?
Now, remember at the end of Vivian's storyline, she gets caught by a teacher. Well, in this chapter, we just continue from where we left off. And it's a small little way to finish the game off. There's nothing really special that happens here, just that we get an achievement for escaping the school together. After that, you and Vivian are finally free. And you guys spend the night at Amy's house, where you watch a movie and cuddle together. So y'all got space for one more? You know, I could just squeeze right there next to you guys. Anyways, you get 2 more achievements for finishing the game without dying and for finishing both chapters and the small scenes that come after them. This brings us to a total of 23 achievements, which means that we're missing only 12. Now, most of these achievements are what I would call a missable achievement. This means that you can go through the whole story like 10 times and you'll never get the achievement. That's because they're so random and so specific that you have to know what to actually do in order to unlock the achievement. Now, I'm not saying that this is a bad thing though, and it brings more replayability to the game. And I'll show the achievements that I got. But man, some of these are useless as fuck to showcase. Like the bingo achievement, where all you had to do was spin the tumbler for like 15 seconds. Like who in the fuck thinks of this? They were still fun to collect though, and they weren't really tedious or annoying like other games. I like the tuning in achievement, which just lets you listen to all the music on the radio. And these 4 achievements that I'll show right now were just like do this puzzle on your first try, or do this that way types of stuff. After that little montage, we're now left with 2 achievements, and these were the more challenging ones. So the first one is called Deep Breaths, which is basically you can't get hit at all. To be honest, I thought this one was going to be a bit harder, but you just have to be pretty patient. And I also saw on YouTube, if you do get hit, you could just restart from the last checkpoint and it'll save your progress. The last achievement was to find every specter in the game. I already showed some of them, like the one in the vending machine. Some of these guys like to hide in places, so they're pretty easy to miss. And some of them are just in the open and they're like almost forced onto you to see them. And once I beat the boss, the credits will roll and I'll get the last 2 achievements to 100% the game. Now, before the video ends, I would just like to say that I really mean that this game is an actual masterpiece. For it to be made by only 2 people is actually insane, and I wouldn't even want to know how much sweat and tears it took for them to make this. And to be honest, if I were to rank this game and the chance, bro, this game is winning by like a landslide. Anyways, shout out to the devs of the game, and yes, that is me. I did comment on their Instagram post. Make fun of me, I don't give a fuck. And with that, thanks for making it to the end of the video, and have a nice day.